For this drawing, I want to make a picture of the castle. And to get started with that, we'll make two lines that go across here for the castle wall. And they'll be about this far apart. And they'll go all the way across. So let's see. Let's measure that with our finger. Put your thumb right here. And your finger right here. And make this into a big C. And freeze it. Now go to the edge of the paper, go up about 2 fingers, and put a dot right here, and a dot right here. Now we want 2 straight lines that go all the way across, just like this. Let's go ahead and try to mark this other edge. Put your thumb here, and your finger here. Freeze it. Go up about 2 fingers. Put a small dot here and a small dot there. Now, if you have a ruler, it'll be great because you can lay a ruler across there and make a really nice straight line. Now, I'm not going to use the ruler, but I'm just showing you. If you have one, that's how you get your lines really nice and straight. And another thing is to draw very lightly. This is a light line, this is a regular line. Don't draw normal, draw very light, even if you use a ruler. I'm just going to see if I can draw a straight line across, and I'm not worried about hitting the dot, I'm just worried about staying straight. If I hit the dot, fine. If I miss it, that's fine too. And here's the top of the wall. I'm just trying to stay straight, that's all. And you can get to where you erase too much. You'll never get it perfect without a ruler. Anyway, there's my 2 straight lines, and I'm not going to darken them up yet because there are a lot of little towers and stuff that I need to stick in front of that wall. So I'm just going to wait. You can barely see those, and I'm going to go ahead. Right in the middle right here, and I'm going to put a doorway that's about 3 fingers wide, just kind of halfway across. I'll start right there and right there, and I'm just going to make this square. I'm going to make this a square right over those 2 dots, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep this, so I'm going to go ahead and darken that in. Now on top of the wall, all the way across, there are going to be all these little rectangular shapes, and they're going to be everywhere. I'm not going to put those just yet, but I've got to remember when I'm putting these towers that those little rectangles are going to go everywhere else. I'm just going to skip over just a little bit from the corner of this and put another piece around this. I'll go ahead and darken this in. I'm just doubling up all these lines. Double up all 3 lines like that, and then I'll put the corners on. And the corners can be rounded or square, or they could be bigger squares. I'm just going to keep it simple. And then I'll get in and let you see what I got. Now, smudges and stuff, they're easy to clean up when the lines are light, but when they're dark, it's hard to clean it up. So I like to draw light at first, darken everything in later. Now I'm going to skip over again just a little bit, not too far, just about like I did. I'm going to go about a half a finger. Yeah, I'll slide my finger up against that, and I'll go to the middle of my finger and I'll put a little dot. And I'm going to make first I'm going to make a straight up and down line, which is vertical, by the way. That's vertical, just like the edge of the paper. See? One finger follows the edge and the other finger follows the line. It's straight, it's vertical. And then I want to pop this thing up above. I want to get this thing on up above the line that made the wall by at least a finger and a little bit more. See, this goes above my finger. It'd be better to make that line too tall than it would be to make it too short. Now I'll show you one place that's going to come in handy to have these light lines. First, let's just go ahead and skip over here. Make that tower a finger wide and a little, just leave space. Don't press your finger real tight. Don't cover the line, and don't put this there. You're going to have a real skinny tower. Now I'm going to turn this into a rectangle, except that on the bottom, I'm going to turn it and make like a little smiley face, just a little bit of a round piece in there, and on top, the other way, it's just they're not rainbows, they're just little curves. Put your finger here, slide your fingernail above so that your fingernail is above the line. Leave white space, go up and leave white space, put a dot. That should put you right straight over the middle of this tower. And turn that into a triangle. Now one thing I do to make it look like a little lip, and sometimes this works and sometimes not, I'll put a little C shape there and a little tiny D there, just little curves. Then you just have to go back and change that line just a little bit on the curve, on the corner, and it makes it look like it's got a lip around it. And where we had to thicken that line, that covers when you color it. Of course, if we'd have done it light, we could have just erased it. All right, we've just got to do the same thing right here. So I'm going to slide my finger up, go to the middle of my fingernail, put my dot, try to get the top of the towers lined up. Just going to go ahead and draw this. Stop, skip my finger. We already did one, so we're just doing the same thing. I slide my finger over, but I let white space show, and then I skip my finger and I let a little white space show. I just don't want these real skinny. If they are, it'll work, but I'd rather them not be too skinny. Alright, here's the little tiny smiley face line there. Just a tiny bit of a rounded shape there. Put my finger in, slide my fingernail above the line, jump up and leave white space, and I'll make these caps. You know what? I think I'll put the little C and the little D first. Let's see how that works. Then I'll make the triangle. Ah, much better. Nothing to erase now. No smudges, no smears. That turned out better. Doesn't hurt to think of new things from time to time. Now, I'm just going to put a little skinny rectangle, flat rectangle right there, kind of where the light line was that made the wall. And I'm going to put a window. Now, these are detail parts, and it's a little bit too early to fool with a lot of detail. But I want to get an idea of how this thing is going to look. So I'll go ahead and put the windows in here with skinny little rectangles for flat window sills and little rainbow shapes. And let's take a look. Okay, now it's easy to forget these little rectangles that go on top, and I'm going to draw these parts against the tower there and against the tower here. You can make them as tall or short as you want, but I like them about a half a finger wide. I like them to be the solid part to be about the same as the space in between them. And it just takes forever. You just line these up across there. We'll go ahead and do these. These are more or less detail parts, and I usually like to save all the detail till last, till I get all my main structures in place. But I have been known to forget these parts, and they're very, very important. Somebody on the wall, like a guard or a watchman, could hide behind the solid part or step out and shoot between the open part. And then, of course, later we would just go and just darken these in like this. And then you'd erase out the light lines there, and it just looks like a solid piece. I'm not going to darken those in now. I'm going to darken mine in with a marker later, so I'm just going to leave them. I am going to go ahead and darken in the bottom of this gate, the gate to the city. And I'm going to go right above this and put a circle there and put a little circle here. Now, this is very important. Put your finger here and slide down. And then we've got to go over this way. You've got to leave white space. Run over that way and bring your finger down here. Look, one finger would be under the door. There'd be a long white space. Then your finger would be over here. And we're going to end up right there. Go from this corner to this dot. And don't be afraid, just make the line slant. We got to do the same thing over here. One finger slides down under the doorpost or the framework. The other is over here in the middle of this space. We slide down there. Here's where we want our little dot, right in there somewhere. Then hook on to the corner here and slant. And if you'd happen to hit the bottom of this, just skip over it. Now, down here in the corners, from the corner, I'm going to go up, and it's like a little T, except it's not flat on top, it's a little circle. I'm going to go ahead and darken those in. Right there in the corner, I'm going to go up and down, put the circle on top, and later we'll go back and put a chain, and I'll show you. The chain's going to follow this path, and we got to skip over a lot of things. This is one place. If you had a ruler, it'd be handy. You could lay the ruler down and make a very light line between these two. I'm just going to make that one with the ruler, and then I'll do the other one freehand. In case you don't have a ruler, I'll let you see that it still works out the same. Turn your paper until you get comfortable. I don't care how you have to twist your paper ever. Always turn your paper until you can draw comfortably. I'm going to leave those light, and later, don't get hung up on this now. We'll go back and try to put the little chain links on there. But first, let's go put some more towers. We need towers, lots and lots of towers. I'm just going to go right up in here. I'm going to draw the tower and then draw the bottom and then draw the base part. I'm going to slide my finger in from the edge. I don't want to draw this at the edge. Slide my finger up over the wall. I'm going to put a line right there and a little bit of a line right there. Look, it's a finger wide. I actually could have just slid my finger up in there, I guess. It's about a finger wide right there. And I want to bring these two lines up until they line up about right there. So I just want these a little bit taller. I want the top of this a little bit taller than the top of this. So I'll go ahead and do that and put the little curved line on top like that, and I turn my paper. Now, let's see if I can make a straight up and down line. I got to bring this tower straight down. You don't want your tower to lean, so you can bring your finger straight down and look. It's just like the edge of the paper. You come straight down, just hook on this. Stop at the bottom of the wall. Don't let these lean. Don't let these lines run together. Keep it neat. Keep the spacing the same. That makes it neat. Then put just a little bit of a smiley face curve right there. It's not much of a curve. You can barely see that off the screen. Then we can darken up the bottom of the wall. Now the top of this tower is going to be different. It's not like the triangle. This one's going to be shaped like this. So what I want to do is put my finger there, and I want to make like the sides of a V. Just making a V that's cut off. Once again, I want that little bit of a curve, just a little bit of a curve there. Straight up about a half a fingernail. A little bit of a curve here. Alright, this is real tricky to get these to come out right. So I'm going to put one little rectangle there, one little rectangle here, and then I'll see how many. I think I can get two more. 1, 2. If you try to scrunch these up, it looks horrible. So I just rather have a few of these little rectangles at the top of my tower than to have a bunch that don't look good. I should have made those a little bit taller. Alright, and there can be, from here, you can start all kind of design work. but we'll save that for later. I am going to go ahead and put a couple of windows. Let's see, I'm going to go right here to light line that we left when we made the wall, put one there. Split it down the middle and then make a backward L. See if you can see that. I just kind of bring a line down and then make a backward L, and then I just connect the corners. I'll do that one more time down in here somewhere. We could take the time and measure out some spacing for that, but it's not that important. They're detail parts. Makes it look good though. Now these would be black. Inside of here this would be black, and I don't really like to color in black with the pencil. And don't do that. I'm showing you what you can do later with a crayon or marker. You blacken those in. Later, and then the rest of it is gray. The other little pieces are gray, or you could leave them white. Now we need more windows on this tower, on these towers, but let's go over here and get this other tower. Let's try to do it the same way we did the first one. Let's get our finger in from the edge of the paper. You've got to leave white space because we've got to get the slants on top of that. Now I'm just going to slide my finger up about even with this, and I'm going to mark the sides of my finger to get the spacing. And I'm going to drop straight down. I'm going to try to make a really nice, tall, straight line. I don't want this to slant. I'm looking at the edge of the paper. When I'm making the line, I'm actually staring at the edge. I'm making the line, but I'm looking over here so that I can follow that direction. And it makes a vertical line. And when a vertical line hits a line that's perfectly horizontal, it makes this little T shape. These are right angles, by the way, and a vertical line goes straight up and down, like the edge of the paper. A little bit of a curve in here. That looks good, so I'm just quickly darken these old lines in. And here's one thing when you're drawing with the pencil. When you're rubbing your hand around on the paper, it smudges, so you have to keep an eraser to clean up the smudges. You can barely see them, but they're there. Now I want these two towers to be the same height on the sides. So let me look at that. Go there, slide over. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and cap this off with a little bit of a curve. I'll put my finger there and get my slants. Go pretty fast from here because we're running out of time. A little bit of a curve. Now, not much. If you're making these rainbows, it will not work. I did not make rainbows over top. They're like frowning, like lines on a frowning face. An upside down smile. Put the two rectangles on the ends, and then I'll try to fit two more in between them. That looks better this time. There's all the main parts of the castle. I'll put the windows on later, here and there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to darken in the wall. You know what? I started to darken in that wall, but I've got to do the little rectangle blocks first. See how easy it is to get distracted and mess up. All right, now I want to do this, and I don't know if we'll have time for the dragon. That's a creative thinking part for someone else anyway. I created the whole thing, but I give you opportunity to create characters, people on the wall, whatever you want to do, or you can make some creative changes. I see one thing I want to go ahead and do. I want to go ahead and put the flags on there. The flags are just cool. I like flags. Just little curvy triangles. Now for the roof, look, I'm going to make a flat line, and then it's like I'm going to make a big triangle over top, but I only make the triangle a little ways, and then I go flat again. Put the little banister up there. I'll show you. And I'm just going to draw very lightly between the tops of these towers, but I'm not going to touch them. I'm leaving space. Once that line looks right, I'll go ahead and darken that in a little bit. And I'll get on the corner. It's like I'm going to start making a triangle, like I'm going to make a huge triangle all the way up and down through there. But I just go up a little ways on both sides and then flat across. Here's the banisters. cap those off. You know what? Might have little tiny flags right there. And all the flags would be blowing the same way. I'll go across about in the middle of that. And then I'll put all these little pieces that make the banister or the railing. Or it's a decoration. I really don't, it can be anything. Alright, I'm going to drop down. Right in here. I'm going to come in just a little bit. Like leave the shape of an upside down L right there. And I'll just drop this straight down until it hits something. And I don't care what it hits. If it hits between these blocks or if it hits on top of one, it doesn't matter. Drop straight down like that. I think I'll divide it in half and put a couple little half moon windows up there. I like the shape of this little roof here. You see, this is all hidden from view. It's behind the wall, so you don't really see the detail. Just a couple little rectangles in there with some of these rainbow shaped windows. And it is just about really time now to start working on some detail. Here's that A-shaped roof. I'll double that up. And when I run out of room, that's just it. I run out of room. I'm not going to worry with it. Here's a slanted roof here. There'd be porches and balconies, and there could be walkways between buildings. I'm not going to get into too much of that right now. I think I will put a window in here. And when I put the windows, if I run into something in the foreground, I just skip over it. And it makes it look like that's further back anyway. It's overlapping. The foreground overlaps the background. Now, I want to put a couple of more, I guess I'm just getting carried away with these flags. Put a couple more flags right in here. These can be a little bit bigger. See, I put like a little curved line and then I make a triangle, but it's just got curvy edges. And these flagpoles could be double thick. I could double thicken those because they're a little more in the foreground and you'd see more of them. I think I will double up this line. And when I darken that in later, I'll double that line up. More flags. I'll show you the chain on the drawbridge. Then I'm going to work on some windows and stuff. I've got to go back and put all those little rectangle blocks. But let me show you on the chain, and I'll show you a couple other simple little things to put kind of like rock on the wall, make it look like block or rocks. Then I'll let you work. When I make the chain, I do a loop and a flat, and a loop and a flat, and a loop and a flat. And it takes a while because you just have to work your way up this. See, we've got the little light line in there that we drew as a guide, and now we're just working our way up that, just keeping our loops and our flats right on that. And that's how I make a chain. Now, if you do yours different, that's fine. You can make creative changes. There's a chain. And if we wanted to get really cool, we double all these up, but these are so small, there's really not much room. When I go over mine with a marker, they'll look double thick anyway. Now I just have to cap off these walls with these blocks, and I'm just kind of guessing at the spacing. Sometimes one will have to be thin to fit and it won't hurt. Then we go over all of that and darken those in. You can erase out the little light lines. I was going to show you on the for the block. You don't show the whole. Don't draw every rock. You could, but it would take a long time. And it's not that that's a problem. It's just there's a way. This is called selective rendering. You just render the corners or the lines where something sticks out a little bit and casts a shadow or catches a highlight. And you just put those every now and then. Some are flat, some are L's, little L's. You just show a corner here and there and a little flat. And it works out. That was off screen, so you didn't see it. But it works out pretty good. When you get done, it looks like this. That's not too bad. Now, you can put a sun, clouds, put dragons, put people on the wall, put a zillion buildings back there. You can do this. You can do all kind of little buildings back in there. That's up to you to make some additions to that. And that's all for now. Going to do a little more selective rendering and put some more windows on these. I'll keep the camera on so you can see, but here's you some music, and I hope it was fun.